everyone. It's Stacy from Achievers Prep. Welcome to another edition of It's All Education, the podcast. I have a very special guest with us here today, and he is known in circles on social media as the Crypto Curator. And he is going to be answering questions for all of us today and helping us become the boss of our own crypto. Okay? So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mr. Paul McNeal. Go ahead, Paul, take it away.
Will do. Hey, Stacy, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate this. As you mentioned, I'm the Crypto Curator. I've been curating news information for a long time, but I started doing it specifically for the world of crypto in 2017. So toward the end of that real big bull run, we made it up to like $20,000. I was like, I think it's time that people get exposed to some of this. So I was like, I got to collect this information. And so I started doing it then.
Yes, well, I'm super excited because when you say that, like, first of all, I know unless you've lived under a rock, I know people have heard the terms Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain. Can you kind of give us some foundation for what we're talking about here? Just give us some foundation.
Absolutely. So yeah, all of these terms are probably new to some people. People are like, what in the world is going on? So go back to the year 2008, 2009, there was this fictitious person named Satoshi Nakamoto that actually launched what they call a white paper. It's basically a document. It was about 9 pages long, and it explained what this technology is. And so what it is, and the terms go together. People like to try to separate them, but they're together. It's the Bitcoin blockchain is what it is. Okay. So the Bitcoin blockchain. Now, the reason it's the Bitcoin blockchain is because the protocol, which is just the technology and the software, the protocol is named Bitcoin, but the digital asset of that particular blockchain is called Bitcoin. So it's the Bitcoin blockchain.
Gotcha.
Now, people might hear the word blockchain. Well, what's blockchain? And to be honest, in the white paper, the term blockchain is never used. What it does say, it's a chain of blocks. So hopefully this helps people out, a chain of blocks. We like to shorten things and say blockchain.
Right.
So what are these chain of blocks? Well, the chain of blocks is a block is a group of transactions, and this have to get into the security of this technology. A bunch of transactions gets grouped together and they get put in a block. Why they get put in a block? Because it provides security. The way the chain is made, think of this like a puzzle or like a train. You've got the first part of the train, then the next train is linked to the first part that's pulling it. And then the next train is linked to the next one. Well, if you try to take one chain out of the middle, you break the whole thing apart. It doesn't work anymore.
Correct.
So these transactions are grouped in blocks, and the blocks are chained together to provide security so no one can mess with the information that's in that chain.
Simple,
so you got
easy
the
peasy.
Bitcoin. Yeah, easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
So now, as a result of the Bitcoin blockchain, now one thing I have to also say is that in order to keep this whole thing secure, people that are called miners get rewarded with Bitcoin. And that's how Bitcoin comes into the system.
That's how they're paid.
That's how they're paid, right, for securing the network. Like a security guard at a building, he gets paid by the hour to watch the building. The miners are watching the blockchain, and they get paid by making sure that the blockchain is secure by putting those transactions in a block. So that's how they get paid. They get
Got it. Got it. Okay. That is the best explanation I've ever heard.
Good. Yeah. I mean, I try to make it so it's relatable, so people can relate to something. That way they can start getting an idea. Of course, people will understand this is far more complicated than that, but this is the general idea.
Right. And okay, so now I understand about the security. Now I understand what the blockchain is. Now tell us, how is this thing you're talking about, this cryptocurrency, actually something that where people are making money, and it's something that people are saying that we need to invest in?
Yes. So let's go back to that whole miners getting Bitcoin. So these folks, whoever they are, that's mining the Bitcoin blockchain, keeping that blockchain secure, they now have this, what they call a token. It's really not a token because none of this is physical. It's all digital. Okay. So they get these representations that they own some particular asset in the digital world. So there was a guy named Laszlo who wanted to figure out if he could exchange these digital tokens for something substantial. So he called up somebody and he says, hey, I actually take back what's called. He was on Twitter, I believe. And I think he asked someone, will someone order me 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin? And so someone responded to him and said, sure, I'll order you some pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin. And so they called up to Papa John's, ordered him 2 pizzas. When the pizza got delivered to his house, Laszlo sent 10,000 Bitcoin to this person. That was the first time Bitcoin had ever had an actual monetary value, I believe. Now, I think there might have been an event right before that that might have given a monetary value, but the pizza situation made it a big deal. And so that's how it got value. Now, what happens is now that it has some value, drug dealers, people on the dark web, they started using it. They started noticing that, you know what, we can send value across the internet. And because each part of this asset is actually unique, they said, wait a minute, and it can't be faked. No one can represent twice. Like right now, if I want to send you a document, I can make a photocopy, but I still have the document and you have the document. Wait a minute, that's not going to work with money. I can't send you money and I have money. That's called artificial forged money, right? So because of this, now it would began to be tradable. People started saying, I want some of that. I want some of that. Well, there's only 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be in existence. So it's a scarce piece of item, scarce asset. So all of a sudden it now has value, but some people might be willing to pay you more because they want it because you won't give it up. You say, you know, I have Bitcoin here, but I'll sell to you for $1 million. Okay, well, the value eventually will get up to $1 million because once your value gets hit, you're going to sell your Bitcoin. So now you can trade this, and then they started building platforms where people can trade it, and Wall Street gets involved, and everybody, and so all of a sudden there's value, and so it's something that you can invest in now.
Oh, wow. Okay, like that. When I tell you this is the best explanation I've ever had, this is amazing. So I know that the people listening, especially if you're of a certain age, I know that you now get it. You now understand. So now take a newbie like me. Where do I get started? How do I begin? Where do I go? And what do I do? What are the first things that I do?
Yeah, what I tell a lot of people to do, and this is the same thing that happened way back in the day. Andreas Antonopoulos is a figure in the space, well-known, educates a lot of people. He used to have conferences, and this will show you just how crazy this is. Back in the day, he used to tell people after the conference, if you like, I'd give you some Bitcoin to get started, right? So he was giving away some Bitcoin, which means more than one, to people after the conference. Nobody's giving you some Bitcoin today. They might give you some Satoshis, which is the smallest unit of a Bitcoin, but nobody's gonna give you Bitcoin. But if you want to get started, I always tell people, just dip your toe in. Get the Cash App. Almost everybody's probably watching understands what the Cash App is. Get the Cash App. At the bottom of the Cash App, there's a little B button. It's like 1, 2, it's like the third icon over. Click on that icon, and then it'll prompt you with a window that says you can buy $50, $100, or you can customize it. You can buy as little as $5 worth of Bitcoin. There you go. So I would say just buy $5 worth of Bitcoin right now. Without knowing anything, go buy $5 worth of Bitcoin. Now that you got your little Satoshis and you got a little Bitcoin, go read the white paper so you can understand what this is. Because once you understand what it is, then you're going to know what to do for your situation. Everybody's situation is different. Some people can afford $5 a week. Some people can afford $500 a week. It just depends on who you are. But you will, as you learn about this, you're going to start understanding you need to put your money in Bitcoin.
I got you. Okay, I'm convinced now. I never messed with it because I still didn't quite understand what was happening. So this is probably a dumb question, but I have to ask. because I understand how stocks and investments work, right? How does it work with Bitcoin? Once I purchase the Bitcoin, is the point to leave it there and allow it to grow and it's going to grow? Or do I have to watch it like I do the stock market and watch the value go up, see the value go down, and then pull money out? Or is it not this type of entity?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because as Mark Yusko, he's the founder of Morgan Creek Digital, and they formed Morgan Creek Digital. Morgan Creek is the company he has, but they formed Morgan Creek Digital for digital assets. He said Bitcoin is the best savings technology on the planet. People have to learn to become savers, and Bitcoin fixes that. A lot of people don't understand how to save money. Some people might not even save money. And I always tell people, in order for you to save money, you need to make enough that you can have some disposable income to save. So the goal of this is to save for the future. Right now, most people might not realize this, but your dollars in the bank is being eroded away whenever the federal government prints more money. They printed more money in the last year than all the money that's been created in history, I believe. It's insane. It's a lot of money they printed, 20-something trillion dollars, right? So what you want to do is you want to buy Bitcoin and you want to hold it. Here's something I want people to think about. In 2008 and 9, Bitcoin was worth zero. Today, fast forward 12-something years to today, and that's 12 years is not really a lot of time, but 12 years, Bitcoin is now worth $46,000. So from zero to 46,000. If you start saving in Bitcoin today, in 12 years, I can't promise you anything, but I can tell you statistically, we might be north of 1 million. So from 46,000 to 1 million, you should own and hold Bitcoin. It's an appreciating asset that's going to appreciate year over year over year over year. You might as well get some.
Okay, well, I think that was a lot of information for everybody to digest, but I have still yet have more questions. And I know just enough to ask just enough questions to kind of get people the information they need. So the next thing I'm going to ask you, and you'll have to let me know if this is something we have to save for a later broadcast, because what I want the people to understand is that you, as the crypto curator, have agreed to partner with It's All Education to bring us the education and to be our professor on all things crypto. Right?
Indeed. Yes, I have.
Okay, so you're going to be featured in our Boss Talks newsletter, which this will be the first time that I've mentioned the Boss Talks newsletter on the broadcast, but I just wanted to throw that out there so that people watching today would understand that they're going to see and hear from you a lot going forward. So you're basically our resident expert on crypto.
Hey, I'm happy to do it and excited because I really believe that this can help out a lot of people. There was an article today that was published in a publication called Be in Crypto that said that marginalized communities are getting a lot of value out of digital assets. Absolutely. And I think that this is something that Bitcoin unites. It brings folks together. It is for everybody, no matter who you are, no matter what demographic, you need to have some Bitcoin.
And I talk about all the time, for those who follow me and listen to me, I talk about access all the time. And when you have an opportunity to participate in something that in essence levels the playing field, when there's access for everyone, you definitely need to pay attention. So crypto was something I always wanted to find a way to bring that information to the people. And I'm so glad that you have partnered with us to do that. So the question I'm going to ask you now is this. I know there's Bitcoin, there's some other type of coin, there's this type of coin, and then I heard you say something about a shiitake. So now you got this Bitcoin, and then you got itty bitty other little bitty bits of coin. So how do I know which one I need to purchase?
There you go. I'm glad you asked that question. Such a good question. So it all started with Bitcoin. And I always tell people, if you've ever heard this term in the IT consulting world, they talk about it all the time. Like they say, you'll never get fired for recommending IBM because IBM is the best. Like, you tell somebody to buy IBM and it don't work for them, sorry, I gave you the best, right?
Right.
So I'm giving you guys the best. It's Bitcoin, always Bitcoin. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I do believe Bitcoin is going to be the asset. As a matter of fact, let me tell you this. There's a gentleman by the name of Charlie Lee. When he went to go, he used to work at Google. He went to go to work at Coinbase, but he decided to create his own digital asset. And he called it Litecoin. So you got Bitcoin and you got Litecoin. Is Litecoin a good asset to buy? Absolutely. But even Charlie Lee, he said you should try to work to own one Bitcoin before you own anything else. So I sort of strive to the same theory. I tell people, yeah, get your Bitcoin. If you want to play with some of these other assets like Litecoin, Ethereum, Solana, Chainlink, DOT, there's over 11,000 different assets. And you can think about these like you do stocks, right? There's tons of stocks out there. You can buy tons. You can buy blue chips, micro chips, small caps, penny stocks, right? The same thing happens in the world of digital assets. So I tell people, be very, very, very careful though. Stay within the top 10 digital assets on coinmarketcap.com if you're going to play, but start with Bitcoin for sure. So get that Cash App, put your number in there and say every week or every 2 weeks, buy this much Bitcoin. And then if you got a little other money you want to play around, you can buy some of the other stuff.
That is, again, what can I say? You are more than just a crypto curator. You are the crypto king around these parts. So in the house of It's All Education, you are the crypto king. That was, again, the best entry-level information to get you started. You have what you need. As you see, I have my Cash App. I've seen that Bitcoin thing on my Cash App, but I just never touched it because I wasn't sure what it was, didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't want to throw away money. So now that I have an idea of what it is, even if it's like you said, $5, I'm going to get started myself. So
good. And what most of your listeners and viewers are going to understand is that there's so many ways to get involved in this industry. But Andreas Antonopoulos, again, another name you really need to know and understand, he said it's better to earn Bitcoin than to buy Bitcoin. And on one of the shows I'm sure we'll have coming up, we'll dive into more about how you can earn it instead of then buying it.
Oh, I love that. We could make that the next episode because now you've got your foundational information. So, yes, I'm going to buy some Bitcoin, but you heard him say that it's better for me to earn it. So I'm going to buy my $5 and then I'm going to sit on that. And then I'm going to wait to find out how I need to earn it.
Yep. So, and you know what? It'll be interesting to see after you buy your $5, the next time we have the next show, see if it's worth more than $5 or if it's worth less than $5.
Oh, that's a bet. That's a bet. We can do a real life, case study featuring moi. Okay, we're going to wrap it up at this point. Most of the time, what I normally do at this point is I give a little spiel, but I want the people to know how they can get in touch with you if they just want to reach out to you directly and they're like, look, I have got to do this. Can you tell the people how they can get in touch with you and how they can find you?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter for sure at @_crypto curator, or you can visit my website, thecryptocurator.com. Either one of them works.
Absolutely. And as always, like I said, you can certainly get a hold of him through Achievers Preparatory Academy because he's going to be featured as one of our partner achievers because clearly he's out here achieving big things and he is partnering with us so that we can do the same. And obviously on the It's All Education website, he's going to be featured in our Boss Talks newsletter. That is a monthly newsletter, guys, that we are putting out that's going to come monthly and give you lots of information, no matter whether you're a content creator, if you're an influencer, if you're a business professional, if you're just someone who believes in self-education and self-promotion. You can learn something from this newsletter. We've got several different topics. We have lots of different experts, and we have bosses from all genres. As you can see, we've got the crypto boss right here with us. So I'm going to close it out. Thank you so much, Paul, for being with us today. And I'm looking forward to continued information that you're going to provide. And I'm looking forward to know how I can earn crypto next time. Right?
Indeed. Thanks,
Okay.
Stacey. I really appreciate it.
You are so welcome. And look, don't thank me. Look, I'm thanking you, and everybody listening is going to be thanking you after this. So as I always say, we believe that the human experience is our classroom and life is our teacher. So at the end of the day, it's all education. Have a good one. Bye.